can you change your life with business analysis? How can you attract global opportunities? How can you use the experience you already have? What are the skills that are required? What are the things you need to do? How can you negotiate top dollar salary? How can you ensure that you're getting the best packages? Because something I also see with a lot of new immigrants is that when they arrive Canada, they get a role and they get an offer. They don't even ask questions. What do people typically earn in these roles? Based on years of experience, based on knowledge, you can actually negotiate your packages, negotiate what you actually take home. Because the truth is, employers expect you to negotiate. So I tell people, don't always accept the first offer. Try to negotiate, see what can be increased. And there are so many aspects to a compensation package. Okay, so the first step is your mindset, right? What mindset do you have? What kind of mindset do you have? Do you have the mindset that you know that whatever you set your mind to, you would achieve? You have looked at your experience, you understand the value you've brought to the table with the work that you've been doing, right? With what you've done throughout your career. Over the years, what have you done? And what value have you brought to the table? Have you ever taken out time to actually document your achievements, document your successes over the years? That is something a lot of people do not do. If you're able to do that, you will build your confidence and self-belief by actually seeing the things you have achieved so far in your career. How do you stay optimistic? Are there ways that you stay optimistic in your job search, in your career transition? How do you stay optimistic? Do you have the right people around you that would guide you? Do you do that? And then do you understand who a business analyst is and that a business analyst is a solution provider? Do you understand how to provide solutions to companies? Where you work right now, can you say that you are a solution provider, that you provide solutions to that company where you work at right now? So that business, can you say you provide solutions? If you currently do that, then you can always do that as a business analyst, because the truth is the same thing. So, if you already have experience in an industry, like I said, and you already have that mindset of value, it's so important to have that value mindset. It's so important to document your achievements. What are the things you've done so far that makes you stand out, that makes you a high achiever, right? Who are the people in your circle that would, keep you going, that would encourage you, that would lift you up even when you feel down, right? Are you someone who is a solution provider? You're always improving things. You're always finding ways to solve problems. You're always finding ways to improve things. If you're that kind of person and have that mindset, that is the business analysis mindset. And if you already do, then you're very, very close to landing that business analysis job. Now, let's talk about your experience. I know we talked about experience earlier. So I want you to be confident in the experience you have. Don't feel like because my experience is not in a global company like a KPMG or a Shell or a PwC, that means my experience is not valid. That's not true. The experience you have is valid, regardless of the industry, regardless of the company, right? As long as it was a legitimate business, right? Your experience is valid. So be confident in your experience, right? I've helped people and coached people who worked at companies I'd never heard before. Maybe they're, small, one-man businesses or very small to medium scale businesses. And that didn't deter them from making that transition to business analysis. And then understanding the job titles, right? Job titles do not matter. Like we learned earlier, the definition of a business analyst is anyone who is carrying out business analysis task, regardless of your role, regardless of your experience. So you want to understand that the job title doesn't matter. It's about your experience and that your experience is valid. Don't discount your experience because you feel, oh, I didn't have the title of business analyst. Don't discount your experience because you feel, oh, my company is not a Fortune 500 company. Therefore, it doesn't count. So do not feel that way and learn to leverage the experience you already have to get you to where you want to be. The truth is, a lot of us already have what it takes. The experience you already have can get you to where you want to be. A lot of times we feel incomplete. We feel incompetent in ourselves because we feel we need to go further and do something extraordinary. No, you do not. If you understand the experience you have, and like we said earlier, documenting your achievements, you understand that you can leverage the experience you already have. Let me talk about experience again. Like I shared in the morning with one of my students who landed a manager 3 role position in one of the top banks here in North America. Her experience was back in Nigeria in Access Bank. And what she did was anti-money laundering, AML, and KYC, right? So that's what she did in the bank back in Nigeria. She moved to Canada and was getting all these associate roles because, of course, back in Nigeria, her role was not a big role. She was just an AML analyst. And she was getting all these associate roles. However, when she joined my program, she was able to learn how she could use her experience and position herself for the right jobs. And that is how she moved from associate to manager, just like that. She used her experience in AML and moved to the AML department of one of the top 5 banks in Canada. And she's now a manager in that department. So think about the experience you already have, right? So someone asked the question, she said her experience was in education management, right? There's colleges, there's universities, they all have business analysis departments, they all have business analysis teams. And you can use your experience in education to actually help the college, help the university. Also, I've worked in a tech company that had a full-blown learning and development team that was inclusive of people who studied education. So all the people in that team had education degrees, and their job was to conduct trainings, develop the materials, and develop the training solution, internal training solution and external training solutions. That's what they did. All right. So in the company, all the people in the learning and development department were called business analysts. However, they all had education degrees because they were in charge of internal training, external training, training development for the staff, implementing the training solution that we use, the softwares, creating the training manuals. And they all had education experience. So companies value experience. Companies value your knowledge and your experience. You're the one that doesn't value it. So I need you to start thinking wide, start thinking deep about the things you've done and do some research. Understand that, companies don't only need engineers, right? Because when engineers deploy something, deploy a new solution, how are people going to use it? People need to be taught how to use it. So you there that had experience in education, you would work with the developers, the engineers, understand the solution and create a training to train people on how they can learn to use that solution. So think wide and don't think that your experience is invalid, okay? Think wide, think very wide because your experience counts, all right? So let's talk about the knowledge you already have. A lot of times, over the years, we have, gotten knowledge from, different areas, either by going to college and university, getting your bachelor's degree. We've gotten knowledge from the courses we've taken. We've gotten knowledge from the books we studied, webinars we've attended, podcasts we constantly listen to. A lot of us are always on YouTube, to learn. You also get knowledge from your work experience, because we have symposiums, we have workshops where you learn new things. All that experience and all that knowledge is also valid. So understanding that the knowledge you have is valid is important, and you can leverage the knowledge you already have. When you work in an industry, right, a particular tool, a particular software, you're now knowledgeable about the industry. You're now knowledgeable about the tools that are used in that industry. You're knowledgeable about the tools that are used, the softwares that are used, and you are a subject matter expert. So when you're a subject matter expert, the knowledge you have is unique to you, and you can use the knowledge you have to actually, get into business analysis. You can improve that knowledge by learning business analysis, learn the frameworks, learn the techniques, the tools, the terminologies, and take that into the knowledge you already have. Now, let me give you an example. For someone who has already worked in the banking industry, for a lot of the banks, in case you don't know, the core banking solution that's used in a lot of the banks use the same banking solutions. So don't be surprised if you work in bank A today, move to bank B, and it's the same banking solution because they actually buy these solutions and then customize it to their brand and to their products and their services. So somebody who had worked in bank A, where they used the same banking solution with bank B, moved to bank B and was employed as a business analyst because she knew how that solution worked. She had done it before, she had the experience, and she was leveraging that knowledge. She had also gotten a lot of training in that banking solution. So because of that, she was able to use that same experience in another company. It was a different solution. However, because it was a banking solution, very similar, she was able to use that same experience. So when you think about the knowledge you have, everything you've learned so far is valuable and you can use them to get into business analysis. You become the go-to expert because you have that knowledge. All right. Now let's talk about skills. Now, skills are very important. Skill is very dicey because I feel like the skill area is where a lot of people sort of struggle with making that transition because there's so much confusion with regards to what are the right skills that business analysts need. And when I talk about this all the time, people are always surprised because what they see on YouTube or online or what they believe or think to be true is actually false. So let me ask you, what are some skills that you believe business analysts have that you already have? So you already have the skills you've been using at work. And those skills you have at work already bring value at work. Now, understand the difference between the hard skills and the soft skills. And that is where a lot of people feel like, I should focus on hard skills, not focus on the soft skills. Meanwhile, the soft skills are really what you need to make that successful transition. Know the skills that you already have that you can transfer. Have you ever done a SWOT analysis on yourself? SWOT, which is SWOT, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats. That's what it means. If you've done that on yourself, you'll be able to understand what your strengths are, what your weaknesses are, and know how you can leverage them to get into business analysis because you already know the skills required. Of course, you would need to learn new skills, but the skills you already have can actually get you there. Now, let's look at the top 10 hard skills that business analysts have. Are customer experience. That is one of the skills that business analysts have. Design thinking, agile mindset, change management, user stories, negotiation skills, critical thinking skills, problem solving skills, decision making skills. These are hard skills that business analysts have. Critical thinking and problem solving, right? And these are hard skills that business analysts already have. So some of you are already using this at work, especially if you're in a role where you have to do a lot of analysis, do a lot of critical thinking, then you're doing business analysis and you're using the right skills. Now, for the soft skills, these are the soft skills that business analysts use: communication skills, creative thinking skills, organizational skills, leadership skills, emotional intelligence skills, storytelling as well. These analysts need to be able to tell stories, to be able to share how they want to solve the problem for their customers. They need to apply emotional intelligence while trying to help their customers, solve problems, right? And they need to be leaders. You need to be able to lead your team, guide them, and direct them. That's leadership. You need to be able to communicate effectively. In fact, this is the most important skill that BAs have. Is 91% of the work that business analysts do. 91% is communication skills. So these are the soft skills and the hard skills. Now, there's no way you would see, skills that business analysts should have: Python, R, Java, and all those things that people feel they need to go and learn before they can become business analysts. Those are not skills. Those are tools. Tools can always be learned. Tools can be changed. Tools can be customized. You'll be surprised that you will go on YouTube and learn a tool. You will join a company and it'll be totally different because tools can be customized. I am a real life experience of this. Okay, so don't get ahead of yourself and believe when I learn the tools, then I can get the job. No, that's not true. You need to be able to understand the skills that you already have, and we just shared these skills together.